Hello everybody, this is Drmcbrick and I am coming to you with a little creation I made for SixFigs. It is a sky sack race ride. Now this is a ride that is so prevalent in so many county fairs here in the US, and you see them in major form in some amusement parks. Now I grew up 30 miles outside of Sandusky, Ohio, and Sandusky, Ohio is home to one of the world's best, if not the best, amusement park in terms of rides. And they have, I don't know how many roller coasters. They used to hold the world record for the number of roller coasters and the best roller coasters and stuff. I'm not sure where it's at now because I haven't been there in a few years, but it was a ride park. It wasn't an attraction park. And so they had what they call the Sky Slide. And I remember as a kid, here I am as a kid, and let's just use Harry Potter, for instance, to represent little Mikey. And so here I am. And so, you know, as a little kid, I'm looking at this thing and it is so flipping huge. Now, the one that I was on and the one that they had, actually, this was all caged in because they didn't want you getting all the way up here and falling to your death. So it was caged in so you couldn't jump or anything like that, which is probably pretty wise. But anyway, so little Drmcbrick here, little Mikey at the time. Oh, and I just knocked that off again. Oh, no. Well, we'll put that back on the stud. Anyway, so little Mikey at the time just kind of walks up the stairs, gets all the way up to the top of the stairs, and my knees are buckling and I'm weak and I'm trying to hold my mom's hand because I'm scared to death. Oh, and I forgot, I needed my sack. So down here I would get a sack, and they were kind of burlap sacks, so they were really tough. They always kind of roughen up your hands a little bit, or if you had shorts on, they were a little tough on the keister. But you took the sack with you, and so you hoist your sack, carry it all the way up to the top. You'd get up to the top and you'd stand there perched on top of this Sky Slide. And back over here was Lake Erie, and so you could see it, and you could see some of the park because the thing was so darn high. And so you'd get ready and you'd put your sack right here. Now this was there was a flat kind of surface here, and I just didn't have enough, I just don't have a lot of real estate, so I wanted to make sure that I made this kind of compact. So that's why you don't see kind of a longer part here where you can sit down, and you don't see a longer part here where you can spend, the laws of physics take you all the way down there. But anyway, so I'm up here and all this kind of stuff, and I look, and then somebody else lines up here, somebody else lines up here, there's somebody standing over here, and they say, go. And when you go, you get on your sack and you just boom, ride, boom, ride, boom, ride, and you'd come out here. Now, like I said, on the real ones, there'd be really long slides coming all the way out here because, of course, physics, and the laws of motion say that, if you're going to slow someone down in a way that's not going to kill them, you're going to need to kind of go this way. So what I did, because I don't want to take another base plate for this is 2 base plates already, I just added kind of a suggestion of like gymnastics mats right here. So when you get down, you just kind of softly, let's just pretend you softly land on these gymnastic mats. Now we're going to take a little Harry Potter, or you can call him little Mikey or whatever, and we are going to put him here, and let's just see what happens. Let's see. And he is launched, but you saw how he kind of went vroom, vroom, vroom. And that's the best part of these sack race type of slides. Now, one of the things that always happened on these slides when I was a kid is you'd get a kind of a bummer of a burlap sack. And so you get up to the top of this and you start down, because they weren't this steep, but you start down and all of a sudden you'd stop right here. And then you'd have to push, with your hands and everything like that, and get down to the next hump, and then on to the next hump. And then all these people down here, they were like, look at that nerd up there. I couldn't even, slide down the sack slide. But anyway, so that is my version, and this is going to go in SixFigs. It's a very simple build. Basically, I got the idea because I was looking at one of these Duplo slide pieces. Now, these are not the Friends slide pieces, which are smaller in width. These are the Duplo slide pieces, but I wanted to make sure that since we were doing a Sky Slide for a ride for an amusement park, this would have to be huge because you have to fit all sizes. Little Harry Potter here, he's kind of, thin and svelte and everything. But when you're, in an amusement park, you got to fit all size people, right? And so you also want to make sure that you have enough room on each side so that the person doesn't get chafed coming down through here. You know, a lot of these slides don't exist anymore because they weren't the safest slides. You know, I mean, you could actually, you know, hit your head on a, you know, that sort of thing. But these were all fiberglass basically, and they didn't have any water or anything. Again, you used the burlap sacks, so I got the idea when I saw one of these Duplo slide pieces, looking at some stuff for my grandson, my 1.5-year-old grandson, Sam. And I thought, you know what? If I got a bunch of those pieces, I could make a slide that would be kind of a big ride for SixFigs. And so that's what I ended up doing. And I just ordered them from Lego Bits and Pieces, or Bricks and Pieces. They weren't that expensive, to be quite honest. I thought about getting another color, but they only had really these 3 colors. If they'd had, excuse me, if they'd had a 4th color, I would have added a 4th slide. Then I decided to use, thanks to my Patreon supporters who I polled and asked questions, because I had showed them this a couple weeks before. That's one of the great things about being on Patreon with me and being a Patreon supporter is I show videos and clips and photos and things like that, and ask questions about how I should build stuff. The small little family that we have so far on Patreon is really very, very good at making suggestions and stuff like that. So anyway, so after I built it, they said that I should just get the pre-built steps. So that's what I did. I ordered a bunch of those, and I just kind of got them at the right angle and stuff like that. I added this railroad piece just to give the suggestion of, because remember, when people are coming up this slide, you do not want them to be able to fall over. So this is big, and that's why it's big. Normally, it would be enclosed, but in order to make it enclosed, I would have to use a lot of roller coaster track, and I just don't want to do that because roller coaster track's expensive. I use some of these braces here from the really old cargo train set, and these just kind of make for really good braces. You see how they brace down there. It's a real simple you know, construction. I wish I had yellow in these Technic beams, but I did not. So that's why I had to use white there. Basically used the plates, took them across. Remember that your bricks can fit into the Duplo. If you have a regular 4x2 brick, it will fit into the Duplo, and you can adjust it. I will tell you that these Duplos, particularly these slides, if you're thinking about doing something like this, these are very fiddly. They're extremely fragile because they're made for babies. So the clutch power of these Duplo are very, very, I mean, loose, extremely loose. So this is not the most hardy. I mean, you know, it's hardy enough. I mean, I'm moving it and stuff, wiggling it. It's not moving, but it literally took me 4 times to get all of this hooked together, because just about the time I got one brace up, the Duplo piece would unclutch and then it would all fall apart and things like that. I have no idea how I'm going to move it from my table here all the way over to SixFigs, but you know, I might have to rebuild it when I get back. So anyway, so that is my slide. I really do hope that you like it. Let me know down in the comments what you think about it. It's fun, you know, it's real simple, and really these slides were very simple. You know, they didn't have any fancy stuff around them. They were just this, and of course, you know, it was just fun. And I just remember my times at Cedar Point. I was scared to death to go on this, and then one time when I was a little kid, someone convinced me to go, and I think it was my grandma, and she convinced me to go, and I just loved it. It was great. Now going up those steps was extremely scary for a kid. I mean, even this scale here, and I tried to make it in the scale. That's why I used the Duplo pieces instead of the Friend slides, because this shows that a kid, you know, is really, I mean, you know, just look at that from the kid's angle. I mean, that is huge. So anyway, let me know what you think about that down in the comments. Please support me on Patreon if you are so inclined. We do post, like I said, I posted pictures of this and video of it, ask questions about it, things like that. We do post previews of a lot of the things that you will see in my finished videos on the Dr. McBrick channel. I'm also on all the socials at Dr. McBrick, particularly on Instagram, and of course on drmcbrick.com. And so with that, You will see this, the next SixFigs update. You will definitely see this ride in the park. I have an idea of where I'm going to put it. And Harry Potter, as a matter of fact, you are going to see Harry Potter and his whole gang a lot more in Figsdale than you ever thought you would see. And that's going to kind of give you a teaser there as well. So with that said, have a great weekend. This is Dr. McBrick signing out.